We're just about to start a new decade
Yes.
in MMA. What are going to be the big things in the 2020s in MMA for you?
Big storylines? Well, let's see. I want to see if GSP's coming back. I like that Conor's coming back. I think that Douglas Lima is finally getting the respect he deserves. His skills have been there forever, but now people are finally noticing. Those are all right at the top of my head. We've got Cyborg versus Julia Budd right around the corner. I think there's a few things to look forward to.
MMA in the Olympics in the 2020s, do you think?
In 2020, no. No, there's a push for it to bring back what they call pancration. They might rename it and call it MMA, but no, it will not be done that quick.
So boxing and wrestling as an Olympic sport together, yeah?
Taekwondo, judo. Oh, you're saying for MMA? Yeah, I mean, essentially you would just be combining some disciplines that are already contested, but...
Women's middleweight division by the end of the decade?
End of the decade? Not end of the year?
I'm talking end of the decade. I'm doing decade here.
Yeah, all right, no, I got it. So 2030, I'll say yes.
And do you feel that MMA will have breached the global markets in Asia properly and in the Middle East and Africa perhaps by the end of the decade?
Yes, I think Africa by the end of the year.
Oh, by the end of the year?
I think so, yeah,
Oh,
I really
really?
think so. I think so, particularly with the talent that you see rising up. Asia's more of like, are they going to resurface? Asia gets responsibility for kind of starting some of this whole thing. In the Middle East, it's been very interesting.
Do you think you'll have hair as long as mine by the end of the decade?
No, in 10 years, no, I don't.
Okay, that's fair enough. Well, I've finally beaten you on one count that I've got longer hair than you.
It's true.
Do you? I would say that the 2010s have been the rise of the Eastern European fighters in boxing and MMA. To be honest, you look at the Klitschko's and the Kovalevs and the Khabib Nurmagomedovs, the guys that have come from the East. Do you think the decade could well be Africa rising?
Yeah, well, I think Africa's already on the rise. So, I mean, they're being very, very competitive as it stands. Whether it's with Kamaru or with its Ngannou. I do think that. I think that seems to be the next push. Do you disagree?
Oh no, I think Africa's going to take over.
Yeah.
I think they'll take over.
Yeah.
I think Asia is a very unusual market that's going to take us a long time to crack, and I think they'll do their own thing. I think they've got a different way of selling. They've got a different way of... In exactly the same way that Brazil have a different way of selling it. You had that close relationship with kind of winding up the entire nation when you were fighting Anderson Silva, and they have the sports entertainment levels, which is what you were very involved in the way that you made yourself a heel for some fights, made yourself a hero for others. Is that they don't do it in the same way, and I don't think they do in Asia either.
Sure.
And I think at the moment the model, the template for mixed martial arts is very much sports entertainment, not pure kind of martial arts fighting. It is about entertainment.
Hey Gareth, let me shorten the geography down just a little bit. You remember when the Russian invasion started happening? We were all predicting that. Look, when the Russians get involved in MMA,
What, in the 20s, you mean?
Well, the Russians are going to be a problem.
Not real life invasion. You mean actual MMA invasion?
Yes, when they started to come over and do MMA and started to have government sponsorship. But I'll tell you another country that is equally as tough as the Russians, and I've been waiting for the invasion, is the Cuban. I've been waiting for the Cuban invasion, and it seems to be a lot slower. I think some of that is politics, but I mean that's another country that needs to be taken seriously when it comes to combat sports.
Yeah, and maybe the Mexicans as well, because boxing is so big there. Probably the biggest star in the world in boxing right now is Saul Canelo Alvarez. $365 million 11-fight deal with DAZN he signed. I mean, it's an extraordinary deal.
Yeah.
It's kind of Mayweather-McGregor levels, isn't it?
Yeah. I agree with that, and that's a whole other conversation as why the Mexicans haven't gotten specifically into mixed martial arts. It appears because of their boxing roots. They're not as big of fans of grappling for whatever reason. I think a lot of that's historical, but I don't know that you can say that about Cuba. Much like the Russians when they started to come over, they take the ground game very serious. They take the stand-up game very serious. It just seems like a natural fit. We're just two guys talking, but those are my thoughts.
When you bridge the two rival MMA networks in the world, I don't know if you often talk about this, you probably don't that often, but you work for ESPN in UFC coverage, you work with DAZN, Viacom with the Bellator coverage. I mean, it's testament to your ability as a broadcaster, or as I call you, probably the greatest bullshitter in the world. No, but I mean that as a compliment.
Thank
no,
you.
you can talk the hind legs off a donkey.
I'll take it.
And you really can. I mean it in a nice way. We're friends, and you know you love ribbing me anyway. But you really are brilliant at it. And is it fascinating to be involved in both worlds? In that sense.
Well, I can tell you it's an honor. I like to participate. It's very hard to participate in this sport without getting in there and punching and kicking at somebody. It's just hard. There's just not very many roles. You've been lucky to get one, and I was lucky to get one. So I look at it as something I'm fortunate of. I think you used the word fascinating. I've never looked at it as fascinating, but I'm certainly thankful.
And are you done now with the fighting? Is it, I was there when you had your last fight in, was it Madison Square Garden?
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I was there. I spoke to you afterwards. Your mum was there. Your family was there. It was kind of maybe an emotional moment. I haven't seen you cry very often, but there were tears in your eyes. It was a tough moment to finish, I imagine. Have you ever had any days when you thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind one more?
Well, no, I've never thought about doing one more, but I do miss the guys. I miss the gym. I miss the
Do you not go
lifestyle.
there then? Do you?
I pop in there a little bit. My New Year's resolution will be in there a lot more. But it's wrestling season right now, and I'm coaching at the high school. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, it's conflicting hours.
This is in West Lynn.
In
right?
West Lynn, yeah. And so, it's kind of a time issue. I would be there more if I could. But those are my thoughts. No, the actual sport itself, no, it was time to go. 22 years, never finished less than second. 22 years, never less than second.
Second is first last, baby.
Well, it's quite remarkable.
Second is first last.
I don't know if anybody
as the
could
Australians
say that.
say.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I listen. You had
Something to say, but
your resume is extraordinary. I mean, for me, you fought the GOAT, two of the GOATs, probably the two.
Who do you put as the GOAT?
John Jones. Oh my God, that
Jones?
GOAT as well. Oh my God, I forgot.
Really?
So you fought the
I
three
thought for
biggest
sure-
GOATs of all time.
Yeah, but I thought you would have had it either I thought you would have had it Fedor or Anderson. I'm surprised. I didn't know you thought that Jones. That's a good pick.
No,
I just didn't know you would have said
Jones, Fedor, and Anderson are the three. I've got a. You won't. I hope you forgive me for this. I have got a soft spot for John Jones.
Can you do a GOAT list though and not put GSP on it?
GSP's in the
possible?
top 5 or 6, I think.
Wow, George as low as 6. That's blasphemy.
Yeah, but think about what people like Randy Couture achieved.
Sure.
Bless his heart,
Champ,
like mine.
champ, one
We
of the
both had
originals.
stents in the last
Yes.
few months. He and I both. Yeah, exactly. One of the originals, and if you put him in there. All right, if you put George at 4 and Randy at 5, then
There's plenty of greats that you could put in there, but don't you have to give some the champ is a very real thing. Champ, and he's trying to become a third champ. I mean, isn't there some credit just for a guy that's got huge goals? Some of these guys won't even.
what Champ doesn't? Are you talking about Cormier?
No, I was talking about George. He succeeded champ, but is going for the third champ. I mean, I think there has to be something said for attitude. I think there has to be something said for a guy that has big goals, let alone accomplishes them. I think you should. 6 sounds really
Will
low
you-
for
will
George
he
St.
beat-
Pierre. I must tell you.
Well, you beat
You beat
Bisping in a close fight. Was that in Montreal? Was I there? Was it, no, it was Chicago, wasn't it?
I think Chicago's right.
You beat Bisping. GSP beat Bisping. Would you have beaten GSP? Because he'd have tried to wrestle you, wouldn't he?
Do I get a weigh in at what I weigh in at?
Yeah.
If I weigh what George weighs, no, I would not beat him.
Really?
I'll tell you straight up.
So pound for pound, he was better than you, yeah?
Yeah.
I thought the
That
only...
doesn't bring me pleasure to tell you, but yeah, he was better than me.
Really?
Yeah.
At middleweight? Would you have beaten him at middleweight? If he'd
I
stepped
really
in
don't
against
believe I
you
can
in
tell
New
you
York?
that. I could compete with him. I'm comfortable telling you that. I could compete with him.
If George wanted to come back and fight you, would you come back?
No. I'm all done. That's not a knock on George. I'm just done fighting, but I do hope he comes back.
Here's a difficult one for you. I might edit this one out actually because you might not like this.
No, I
question
already
at
like
all.
it. No, don't edit it out.
Okay.
Come on, let's do it.
For the health of the sport,
Yep.
is it better that Bellator rise and get on an equal platform and an equal standing as the UFC?
I have heard that said many times, and nobody has ever questioned the integrity or the honesty of Scott Coker. That literally has never happened that I have ever seen or read. I would love your opinion if you know one guy that.
I know I don't have anyone.
Okay.
He's loved. He's beloved by people in the sport.
Dana White's complaint on him has been consistent through everybody, and it all comes down to his own generosity. Dana started giving him money away that he did not contractually owe. And over time, people began to get resentful that some of those gifts weren't big enough. So as far as is competition good? Yes, I know enough about business to know competition is good. But to act as though the leadership of this sport has not been above board and fair is simply not true.
And okay, that's very interesting. You know, I mean, I think the more one rises, the better for the entire sport. The more rivalry, the better. And I think it is equalising the whole time. And
I agree with that.
Who's your favourite?
That's a factual statement. What I'm saying is my interpretation of that question.
It was too clever an answer
was
for me.
leading, yes, to is somebody being exploited or solicited, and that's just not the case, and has never been the case. And I resent it when people say it. I mean, I will tell you, as somebody that helped to set the table that everybody else lives at. You know, when you're fighting at the dog park for $500. Nobody's there to see it. There's no cameras. There's no glory, and you're just doing it because you love the sport. And then to come into something where the very bottom is 10 and 10, and I'm talking 1,000 in a very short period of time, and then to have people that are resentful about that, they just need a history lesson. In my opinion,
No, it's well put. It's very well put. Who's your favourite media guy, me or Ariel?
oh come on, you whoever's in the room is my closest. So when Ariel calls me and says, "Hey, I saw the video,"
Your
I
best
say,
friends.
"Oh no, hey, it was Ariel."
You know that he made me. He was paying me. He was squeezing me to say
And
it.
you're one of the few guys that gets to know Ariel like I do.
No, I love Ariel. He's the best.
He is so funny. He has
Yeah,
the best
he
sense
is.
of humor.
He
He's
is.
an honest guy. He's a hard-working guy. Ariel gets a
No,
really bad
he
rap.
he,
Does.
he is the most workaholic guy.
Yes.
In sports media. Simple as that.
You could call him at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. He'll take the call.
Yeah,
from
no.
Hello?
No, you could call him at 2 in
Yeah.
the morning to put a tweet out on something
Sure.
and he'll do it.
He'll get up and do it. He'll handle it.
If you said I'm making a comeback and you called him at 4 in the morning, I need the tweet going out 6 times the next hour and a half. He'd be up doing it.
He'll
on
wake up
point,
and do
wouldn't
it,
he?
yeah. Without complaining.
Do you think he believes he's intellectually superior to you?
Yes, he does.
And you know he isn't. don't
He
you?
most certainly is not. Which I'm happy to let him know. They used to be heated arguments. Now they're
I
a little
remember.
bit more playful arguments.
You and the bad guy and him.
I think for the sake of our show, the heated arguments were better, quite frankly. The arguments still exist. They're just now a little bit kinder spirited. But
Listen,
yes, he does believe he's smarter than I am.
Listen,
and it drives me crazy.
If you were both bald, you'd argue over a fucking comb. Do you know what I mean? Because you two can argue over a clod of earth. Do you know
That's
what I
funny.
mean? And you want to win.
That's a good
Do you know
one.
what I mean?
I haven't heard
Put
that
two
one
bald men
before.
fighting over a comb.
Over a
you
comb,
know,
I
over
haven't.
a brush. Yeah, over a brush.
That's
yeah.
pretty good.
No, but it is true.
Yeah.
You know, and the how lucky are we to be involved in this sport? And if you were talking to people from other sports, from the other 5 big 6, we have 2 or 3 other sports that are huge in our country: rugby and cricket. Soccer, NHL, NFL, NBA, baseball. These are the big world sports. How lucky are we to be involved in this sport, and why do you think we are lucky to be involved in it?
Well, I just think you're fortunate if there's something that it's very rare in life that you get to do what you want to do. That's a very rare thing. That's a nice thing to tell kids. Hey, have a dream and a goal, and don't let anything stop you. These are really good things to say. But how often does that happen, Gareth? Right? And we do have an opportunity to see the world, make friends, be patted on the back for our efforts. How many people do great things but nobody sees? They don't get to thank them. These are things that I'm appreciative of, in fairness.
What the reason I would say is that.
Well, I'm sure you have a great answer. You knew you were going to ask the question.
Well, no, I'm doing it.
Let's
Listen,
hear
hang on a minute.
Let's hear
Where's
your
my
beautiful
notepad? There
answer.
isn't one.
Yeah, let's hear your big, beautiful
I
answer
saw
that
you.
you just set up for yourself.
Listen, I saw you. I invented you as the Elvis of MMA, remember? When you beat Anderson Silva for 4.5 rounds and then you let him win. Clearly you let him win.
The round.
You let him win the round.
I didn't understand that would meant the contest.
Well,
But yes.
But the thing is this. I came over here because I don't like it when you're sitting on your own. Because I know you're only going to get yourself into trouble. So I came to occupy you. I didn't have any questions prepared, and I thought, I wonder how much battery is left in my phone. And it's been on red the whole time I've been doing it. So it could go at any time. And if it goes, I don't want any of those fucking answers on the bottom of it where people go, oh, get a better cameraman. Why don't you edit it properly? Why isn't there music at the beginning? This is just a little video.
Plus, you're holding this. Your arm's got to be going to sleep. How's the
my arms are absolutely fine,
all right.
The stents are in. My heart is, blood in my body is flowing fine.
I just imagine if I was doing this for
Listen, I know you got the.
5 minutes.
I know that thing about I've got the biggest arm. I've got the bigger
Those
forearms
are the
than
biggest
you.
Arms. Look at that. These arms were big before I juiced them. I mean, did you
don't start that because I've never taken any
that's the kind
juice.
Of piece we were doing.
I've taken a lot of recreational, but not juice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about those things.
Yeah, it's too late. It's out there. How do you edit a video, by the way? A minute ago you said, "Oh, I'm going to edit." How do you edit a video?
What my answer to you, because I digressed too much, was no. I'm free-forming this interview. I can't even remember where I was now. Oh yeah,
you asked yourself a simple question. and then
which
you
is
have a canned answer. Get your beautiful answer out.
Here's the answer.
Show everybody how brilliant you are on the fly with the question you asked yourself. No, go ahead.
Do you know what? This is why it's not G-Man, the Warlock, and the bad guy. Because because I would end up slapping him. I would slap him because I'm not a. What would I say?
Wait,
passive.
Let's tell them the story. Let's tell them the story about when we were going to get in a fight.
Listen, everybody knows if we got in a fight, you'd whoop me.
No, but the story, the weigh-in.
Oh, the weigh-in in London. No, I know, but let's do that in a minute when I've given you my answer.
Oh, right.
Or you can tell the story if you want.
I feel like you really want to get this. Do your answer.
Here's the. There's Kate Jackson's manager there. There's a troublesome-looking metrosexual.
That's the jury. That's
a
the
very,
jury to
very
this argument we're having.
Yeah, it's a jury.
So far, I think he's siding with me.
Here's the thing, right?
By the way, Kate Jackson can fight a little bit.
Can't she just? We're here. We're in Honolulu, by the way, killing time. After we spent a whole day killing time on an American Pearl Harbor, it was, wasn't it? You and I in Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
We did the officers' mess. People saw the little videos on whatever it was, Instagram story or whatever. Look, here's my theory why it's so enjoyable to involve in this industry.
You know, I've been drinking coffee all day.
No, I haven't.
I feel like you're leaning away from me like I have a breath issue.
You've always got a breath issue, you know.
I've been drinking
Listen,
coffee.
Some people are dog breath. You are monkey breath right now, yeah?
Don't tell people like.
Has anyone got any gum? Has anyone got any gum?
Yeah, I don't want you spreading a rumor about me. I've been drinking. It's been. I didn't know we were doing an interview.
Yeah. Chael's had a lot of coffee this morning. Yeah.
Give him the answer that you came in here and set the camera up to give. Go ahead.
We're in an industry where every event starts with nothing. They need a venue, they need to put a card together, they need a group of individuals on it, and then we have storylines. And as you know, it allows creative people to flourish. Not only that, it's one of the most unusual professions in the world to be a pro fighter. And I love to tell the stories of pro fighters. I find them the most fascinating people on earth. I think that's what the fans love about fighters, because it's not like I really want to be a fighter. It's understanding and having an appreciation for what people put themselves through. You know, you fought Rashad. I sat down a few months ago with Rashad, and he told me that sometimes he was literally on the brink before a fight. He just didn't eat, almost suicidal. And I worked with Rashad on TV all the way back on ESPN back in 2007, 8, 9 when I first got to know him. And you don't know that. Oh, you always do this. If you had a daughter, her name would not be Brevity.
What is? Oh, hello. Oh, are you still here?
This is why he's a.
No, shine Rashad's boots up a little bit more.
Anyway, so what's your answer?
What was the question?
Do you agree with me?
Yes.
It is the most fascinating industry because you are easily bored, which is why I came over and sat here. First of all, I'm easily bored. Yeah, you need occupying because you get into trouble otherwise. Because I saw you the other day. You're a miscreant. You're naturally a miscreant.
All right.
Aren't you?
Well, define trouble. Limited trouble. Not end up in handcuffs.
Like we start talking about and about the rough Samoans. You go, should we go down there and start telling them they're this, that, and the other in the bar and see if we can get into a fight?
I felt like that we should.
You wanted to test yourself.
Test the theory. They say we're not welcome in a certain place. I was just saying, let's test the theory.
Well, we were on stage in London, yeah, weren't we?
Yes.
It was a UFC event.
Oh,
I was
we doing
working
it?
for BT Sport at
Yes,
the time.
alright.
And I can't remember what the headline was. It Randy and Vera?
No,
Was
no,
it
no.
Couture and Vera?
No, no,
Was
no.
it Bisping and...
No, they were years off. I can't remember the.
It was 2014, I think.
I was out there. Luke Barnott was fighting. I was there specifically for Luke. I know Manuel
yeah.
was on the card. I can't remember who headlined that thing.
It was Manchester.
It was Manchester.
No, I think it was supposed to be Bisping and... no, it was Machida and Munoz.
That's
'Cause
exactly
Bisping
what
got
it was.
injured.
That's exactly what it was.
Bisping got
the
injured,
head
didn't
kick
he?
from Machida. Yes.
Yeah, the head kick from Machida. And you were out there. We did a few interviews with BT Sport. Then we went on stage for the weigh-in, and this happened.
Okay, so we're behind the scenes. The way the weigh-in works is exactly what you guys see, right? The camera's just set right here. Guys walk out. There's a backdrop. Dana's up there somewhere. There's a scale somewhere. It's a pretty simple set.
Joe
for a
Rogan
television
walks
show.
on. Everyone goes wild.
Joe Rogan walks out. Joe Silva, I think that was still in the Joe Silva
It
days,
was.
right? He'd get introduced as the babysitter to the stars and the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
But that's
yeah.
it. I mean, the set is extremely simple. It's this wide. Well, Gareth and I are right here. We're just on the other side of the curtain. Here's the set known as the weigh-in. So Dana walks out. Gary Cook stays in back, who was a high-level executive at that time for England, which happens to be where we are. And Gareth and I decided it would be a great idea if we got into a mock fight and just came like tumbling through the curtain, fell onto
In the
stage.
backdrop, yeah.
We're and then we just look up and there's Dana on live TV. For some reason, we almost did this. This isn't a joke where we were like just trying to, workshop idea. We were going to do it.
You saw my head kick for the first time, and you quite
The day
admired
before.
it, didn't you? Or the day before, yeah.
We had dinner and you threw a head kick at like the chef
Oh,
or
that's right.
something.
Yeah,
came
that's
out.
right. That's right. Yes.
Like
yeah.
he came out
It
to
was
like
the
greet
day
you.
before. Yeah.
You like throw a head kick that misses him by. I mean, it was not only your flexibility and your technique. It was your ability to understand range that was so
no, I've got
fascinating.
decent
Like
range
as
on
the
it, yeah.
air is just going right past his head. So at any rate, we're gonna bust through the scene and end up on TMZ and think we both would have been big heroes. We would have both ended up fired, but at that time we thought we were going to be famous.
Yeah. And do you know what? I got to say.
Do I really have coffee breath?
No.
Oh,
No,
well,
no,
what you made the
smell
monkey
great.
comment.
You smell great.
You
But
smell
do-
very nice too.
Thank you very much. Well, that's at this point, to leave you all wondering what Chael and I did next after telling each other we smelt so good. Yeah, we're probably going and get some coffee now. But do you know what? It's always a pleasure seeing you,
It's nice to see you.
leaning on you.
Thank you, buddy.
You know, biggest arms in MMA, the Elvis of MMA.
It fits in that.
Oh, I wish I was hell and a cotton.
That's pretty good.
Oh, the time
Sing it.
they are forgotten.
Yeah. Woo.
You look away,
Yes.
away, oh Dixieland.
See? That's where the entertainment comes in. Anybody can sing Blue Suede Shoes, but there's a reason Elvis is on stage wearing the blue jumpsuit. Remember that.